Good morning, everyone. This is Andrea with Happy Cloud Creations. I wrote up the pattern for this Quilt Along, the pot holder Quilt Along, and I just wanted to go over block 1 with everyone. So when you jump on, say hi so I can make sure I can see people's comments. Oh, one person jumped on. So if you jump on, say hi so I can make sure we can see comments. We're going to go over block 1 today. I'm in Washington, so it's 10:19. I'm a couple minutes late. It's getting pretty chilly here. It's not really fall, it's almost winter weather. Hi, Deb. We got some snow on Friday and on Sunday, just dustings, but we don't usually get snow this early. Really crazy. So today we're going to talk about block 1. If anybody has questions too, just shout out your questions. You're in Kansas, Deb? Is it already snowing there too? We were just so shocked to wake up to snow on Friday. It's crazy. So block 1 is a modified log cabin, because usually a log cabin is one block and then you do your strips you continue going around all 4 sides of your block, right? This one we just build on to this block. So constructing this block is pretty easy. One of the reasons. Oh my goodness, Deb, 21 degrees. I think we were only 32 here. That is so cold. So I don't usually like to work with small pieces, but for pot holders, since they're, they can range from 6 to 8 inches, 8.5, 9. I don't want to just have one plain pot holder, so I like to do pouch work. And 2.5 inches pieces is probably the smallest I'll go. You could go smaller, with all your scraps and just sew a bunch of scraps together to make your quilted front. This one's pretty easy. So, I don't know, if there's any questions, shout them out. Basically, you start with your first block, you connect it to this one, and then you'll take your next piece and connect it to the bottom. After connecting each piece, you want to press. I always press to the attached piece, so press to this darker piece. You attach this strip, and you want to press toward this strip. And then after each time I connect a piece, I like to measure it, just to make sure, you don't have any, it might be straight and then it lumps out, because sometimes it'll stretch a little when you sew. I like to straighten up the edges with my rotary cutter. Just, take a ruler, straighten it up, make sure it's nice and straight. That way, when you're adding your next strip, and if you're pinning them together, you're not, sewing it all weird, out. You want them straight. And also, you want to pay attention to the edges right here to make sure that is a full scant 1/4 inch. Because sometimes when you get close to the ends of your piece, you might trail off and this might become smaller, and that'll make your lines a little wonky. To keep them nice and straight, you want to make sure it's 4th here, 4th here. So everything's nice and lined up. Yeah, so this one's pretty easy, Attach. And then the blocks are pretty easy, I think. Then I did a video last week about constructing your pot holder. I know some people in the group aren't making pot holders. They're making like a table topper or a baby quilt or pillow covers. These are basic 8.5 inch blocks. You can do lots of things with them. So I went with a binding method for this one that I did. When I do the binding, I like to put a loop on mine. So last week I did a more in-depth video on adding a loop to the non-binding method and the binding method. So I'll just do a little quick over with the binding method, since that's what I have in front of me. I start out sewing my binding on, you do it on the front, put it on the front, starting in the corner, go all the way around, mintering your corners, like that, which basically you sew up to the corner, and then you, to a 1/4 inch, and you go off, and then you'll fold that down, and then you'll start right there. I usually like put my finger there because I know that's the 1/4 inch, right? And then I'll sew it all the way around till you get to the end. And this will be wide open. What I do then is I get a little pin. I go over to my iron, I pin this down, and then I basically fold both sides in and iron it flat. And then I'll put some pins in it to secure it, and I'll sew from here all the way to the end of the strip. And then this will have the loose threads. I'll bury those because you can just backstitch and snip them real close, but I like to bury them because it makes it look a little neater. You know, you don't see where your thread started, and I like it better that way. And then I'll take that pin out. Now, I got this long strip. Say it's a little bit longer. I already trimmed mine to the length I like. What I do is I take this, I take 3 fingers, I wrap it around to the back, and then I go, I guess, 3 fingers. I guess this one's a little bit longer than I want. So, I didn't trim this one yet. Then I'll go like that. Like, can you see that? Fold it over to about where I want it. And see, this is where I'm going to want to cut it. Because if you leave that loop really long, it's going to be a little too big. So I'll fold it over, find where I want to trim it, and say this is trimmed. Okay. So now you'll take your end straight over there. Boom. I know it's kind of confusing. That's why I didn't really write it in the instructions. I thought it might be easier to see. So I'll go like this, match it up, and sew it several times here. And then you can just flip this over, put that up, pin this here, and then you'll turn it over and you'll sew a seam here, which I'll show you on this one. So this one, I flipped it over. You see how it's sewed in there? Can you see? Sewed in there. And I flipped it over, put it in place. I put a pin here, flipped it over, and I just did one seam here. And then I have my strings here, and I buried those in too. So it looks nice and neat. Now we just have this kind of floppy thing, but then I'll go around and I'll hand stitch that all down. You could machine stitch that down too, this way. Right here you'd want to go really slow because that's a lot of fabric that you're going through. But this is the best way that I've found to make loops. I don't know. You know, the pattern's just a suggestion. So if you find a different way that you like better, go for it, you know. I've been making pot holders, I don't know, probably since I opened my business back in 2011. So with trial and error, this is the best way I found. And it just kind of looks nice and neat. No ends are sticking out. And then I'll go around and I'll hand stitch that all down. It'll look nice and neat. If there's any questions, let me know, you guys. Also, I forgot to mention last week, you know, I like to quilt these. Hi, Judy, from Indiana. I bet it's cold over there, too. I like to quilt them, but they are only 8.5 inches. So, most cotton battings, if you look at the instructions on it, like this one says under 10 inches, you know, you need to quilt at least 10 inches apart. So this block's 8.5 inches. I don't have to quilt it. I just like the texture it gives. You know, it kind of makes it a little more fluffy and when you wash it, the cotton batting will shrink up a little and make it a little more poofy. You don't have to. You could just, you know, pin it really well and put your binding on, and that should suffice. It shouldn't, you know, be a problem. I think that's about it. I don't know. I know that before I do these live videos, I always, in my head, I'm like, okay, I want to tell them this, this, and this, and this. And then I always forget, you know. Karen, I did a loop without the binding last week, and that's saved into the, group. I'll tag you in that video, because I don't have that pot holder in front of me right now. So I'll, same with the quilt sandwich. I did the whole construction of the pot holders last week in the video. Deb, if you want to look at that too. So basically the quilt sandwich is, you got your back fabric, and then a layer of Insula Bright, which is insulated batting. I know some places don't carry that brand around the world, so I would Google insulated batting for hot pads. And then your area will come up with the different types of brands that they carry. So it's the backing fabric, then I do a layer of Insula Bright, and then a layer of cotton batting. And the cotton batting will absorb moisture and give you a little more protection. And then you put your quilt top. And when I pin it, before I quilt it, I pin it a lot since there's a lot of layers in this. You don't want it swishing around at all, you know, so I'll pin at each section. And then when I'm totally done, like sections, like say that no quilting went to the end of these, so I'll go around toward like a little bit less than a fourth, and I'll just like tack it down so that it doesn't go all over the place, because sometimes when you're trying to put your binding on, the backing will like flip over, and you don't want that to happen. So yeah, Karen and Deb, if you want to actually watch the videos for that, I'll tag you both in that, okay? Trying to think of anything else. I know some people were having a problem with actually getting the pattern on Craftsy. If you go, so I kind of just logged into my Craftsy. Oh, I don't know if that's going to work. Craftsy. And in this upper right hand corner, you open up the drop down a little bit. You press on the little face. And then if you're on a real computer, I don't know if you can see that, you'll see Pattern Library. You're going to want to click on Pattern Library, and that'll take you to all your patterns. I only have this one in here because this is like a mock-up account. And you'll see, oh, okay, I have this pattern. To find the new downloads, you just click on the front of that, and it'll show all the downloads available for this pattern. Some people were saying they logged into their account and that pattern wasn't available in there. One thing I could suggest is log out of your Craftsy account, log back in, and maybe it'll pop up in there. Or the other suggestion would be go to that pattern on my Craftsy shop and just click add to cart again, and that should work. Because I want to make sure you guys all get the pattern, because every Tuesday, so next Tuesday morning, I will add the next block to that Craftsy pattern, and Craftsy will send you a little email saying the designer has a new download for you, and there'll be a little orange box at the bottom that says download pattern. And I'm trying to make this as user-friendly because I know not everybody's in the group, and so for people that aren't in the group, I want to make sure they can just get their pattern, you know, so everybody's not like, where's the pattern, where's the pattern? So hopefully next, if there's no other questions, next Tuesday, I'm going to try to upload the next pattern, which is a flying geese pattern, which uses flying geese, not half square triangles.
Can I
Sorry, Snow's talking to me.
Mama, I want to watch. Can I watch
say hi?
Magic School Bus?
Say hi. Yes, you can watch Magic School Bus. All right, sorry about that. I also received an email from Craftsy telling me I had a new parent. Awesome, Judy. Because, like, I made a mock account with one of my, because I have several email addresses. So I'm like, okay, I hope this works because I've never done this before. So I made the mock account and I got an email. So I'm like, okay, I hope everybody gets the email. I know some people said they didn't get the email, but that could be that you've set up your notifications in your Craftsy account to not receive emails. It could be going to your spam or junk folder. And then it could also, sometimes, I know it's really weird, sometimes email providers will block emails from certain companies. When I used to work at this educational website, we set up websites for teachers, and we'd send out our emails and they'd be like, the teacher would be like, we're not receiving your email. And come to figure it out, we had contacted AOL, and AOL's like, for some reason we're blocking your emails. And so we figured out with them and they stopped. So if you're not getting that Craftsy email, check in the group. Tuesday morning I will say, okay, it's ready for download. I'll also post it on my Instagram page and on my Facebook page and in my blog so that, every avenue will tell you, okay, it's ready, it's ready. Oh no, Linda, you didn't find the video. I'm almost done, so you can rewatch it. But to find it, basically go to the group, click on discussion, and then if it doesn't pop up at the top, you just refresh the page. And then I know sometimes, I think it's when the beginning of the video starts, like there's a button on the video that says, get notifications when this person goes live. But because I've seen that in other groups, but I don't know how to do that. I'll have to figure it out. But, so yeah, just go to the discussion page, refresh it, and the video should pop up. But, so I think I'm pretty covered on this first block, starting to just ramble. So if you guys, anyone missed out on the video, you can just rewatch it. And I'll jump on next Wednesday to talk about the flying geese block for next week. See if anybody has questions with that. I'm excited to see everybody's pot holders and whatever else you guys decide to create with your blocks, because I know some people are going to do table toppers and quilts, so I'm excited to see those. Yay, Sue, so you got it too. I was wondering if Craftsy was international and if everybody could get it. I started worrying about that. I'm like, oh no. I hope everybody can get it. So awesome, you got it. So so next week, next Tuesday, so yesterday I woke up like at 4:30 with my husband when he went to work. So I was able to mail that, upload that pattern really early, so the email went out at 5:30 a.m. my time. So I'm going to try to do that next Tuesday too if I wake up that early, because I know people around the world wake up at different times. Even, New York in the United States is up 3 hours earlier than me, so I want to get that to you guys early so you can work on it before you go to work or while your kids are in school. So I guess that's it. It's nice talking to all of you. So I will get back on here next Wednesday after the block is released on Tuesday. You everybody have a nice week, and post those pictures of your blocks. I want to see them, okay? Even fabric selections. If you guys have fabric selections, post those. Yeah. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.